Hey everyone, welcome back to Soulful Stories. Today, we're diving into the powerful and eye-opening book The Courage to be Disliked by Ichiro Kishimi and Fumite Koga. This isn't your typical self-help book. It's based on the psychology of Alfred Adler, and it's all about challenging some of the ideas we think we know about happiness, confidence, and living a meaningful life. The Courage to be Disliked is a Japanese self-help book written in the style of a conversation between two people, a philosopher and a young man. It is based on the ideas of Alfred Adler, an Austrian psychologist who believed that people have the power to change their lives by changing their thinking. The book's central message is that we don't need to be controlled by past traumas, the opinions of others, or the desire to fit in. Instead, we can find happiness by living true to ourselves. So, if you've ever felt held back by your past, struggled with people-pleasing, or wished you had more courage to live authentically, this video is for you. Stick around, because we're going to break down the book's top lessons and how they can change your life. Your past doesn't define you. One of the first lessons is that your past doesn't determine your future. Unlike Freud, who believed that childhood trauma shapes our adult lives, Adler believed that people create their own futures by how they interpret and act on their experiences. In the book, the philosopher tells the young man that he has the freedom to be happy regardless of his past because he can choose how he responds to it. Example: if someone experienced bullying in school, they might believe this is why they struggle with self-esteem as adults. Adler's view, as explained in the book, is that the real issue isn't what happened in the past, but how the person interprets it in the present. They can decide to let it hold them back or to see it as an experience they have grown from. The goal of life is to find meaning according to Adler. Everyone wants to feel useful and have a purpose. He calls this the will to meaning. Unlike other psychologists who thought that humans were driven mainly by instincts, like seeking pleasure or avoiding pain, Adler believed that people want to contribute to society and be valued. This idea helps shift the focus from our problems to finding ways we can make a positive difference. Example: instead of worrying constantly about being liked or admired, Adler's approach encourages people to focus on how they can help others or do work that makes them feel fulfilled. All problems are interpersonal relationship problems. Adler argued that many of our problems come from how we interact with others. We want approval, we fear rejection, and we often feel that we need to change ourselves to fit in. The book teaches that much of our unhappiness comes from worrying too much about others' opinions. The philosopher tells the young man that we should prioritize our own values and beliefs rather than basing our happiness on others' acceptance. Example: if someone feels anxious about what their colleagues think of them, they might act in ways that don't reflect their true self just to fit in. Adler's view is that this creates inner conflict and unhappiness. Instead, being authentic and focusing on self-approval is healthier and more fulfilling. Separate tasks to reduce stress and gain freedom. The book introduces a concept called separation of tasks. This idea suggests that we can reduce stress and be happier by only focusing on what is within our control. Instead of trying to control how others think or feel about us, we should focus on what we can control, our own actions and responses. Each person has their own tasks, and we shouldn't interfere with others' tasks. Example: if a parent constantly worries about their child's future, they might pressure the child to make certain choices. Adler's advice here would be that the parent's task is to support and encourage, while the child's task is to decide what future they want. Separating these tasks allows each person to have freedom and reduces unnecessary conflict. The Courage to be Disliked, the book's title, comes from one of its central messages: that to live a fulfilling life, you need to have the courage to be disliked by others. This doesn't mean being rude or ignoring people. It means that you should live according to your own values and not change yourself just to be liked. Trying to please everyone leads to a life of constant stress and unhappiness because it's impossible to make everyone happy. Example: if you choose a career that you love but others disapprove of, you might face criticism. The Courage to be Disliked allows you to stay true to yourself and not let others' opinions define your life choices. Live in the present moment. A major part of finding happiness, according to Adler's philosophy, is focusing on the present instead of being overly focused on the past or future. The book encourages readers to stop holding on to regrets about the past or fears about the future. The present is the only moment we can act on, so that's where we should direct our energy and attention. Example: instead of constantly thinking about past mistakes, a person could focus on what they can do today to improve their life. This way, they use their time and energy to create positive change rather than dwelling on what they can't change. Life is not a competition. The young man in the book often compares himself to others and feels that life is a competition where he needs to prove himself. But the philosopher explains that seeing life as a competition is one of the main sources of unhappiness. Instead of comparing yourself to others, you should focus on your own growth. Personal fulfillment comes not from beating others, but from living according to your values and doing what makes you feel truly happy. Example: instead of feeling envious of a friend's success, someone could focus on what they find meaningful and valuable in their own life, setting goals that reflect their own interests rather than copying others. The book doesn't just present ideas, it also gives practical advice on how to apply Adler's teachings in daily life. Here are some key tips. Practice self-reflection. Take time to consider what you truly want in life without thinking about what others expect. Regular self-reflection can help you identify your values and live more authentically. Take small actions. If you want to change your life, start with small steps. Even minor changes in how you think and act can lead to big improvements over time. Focus on contribution. Instead of focusing on what you can get from others, think about how you can contribute to them. This shift can lead to more fulfilling relationships and a greater sense of purpose. Accept that not everyone will like you. Remind yourself that it's okay if not everyone approves of you. Trying to please everyone will only drain your energy and take you further from what truly makes you happy. Stay in the present. Practice mindfulness to keep yourself focused on the present. Whether it's in relationships or personal goals, try to appreciate each moment as it comes instead of worrying about the future or dwelling on the past. The Courage to be Disliked is a book that challenges readers to think differently about happiness and self-worth. It teaches that true freedom and happiness come from embracing who you are, living according to your values, and having the courage to be disliked, instead of letting the past or others' opinions define you. It encourages you to take control of your life by focusing on your own actions, values, and goals. By separating yourself from others' judgments and focusing on what you can control, you can live a life of meaning and purpose. I hope this summary gives you a fresh perspective on what it means to live authentically and pursue happiness on your own terms. If you found these lessons valuable, consider picking up the courage to be disliked and exploring it in more detail. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments if this book inspired you.